Hey everybody, Bruce with Diamond Gems 45. Welcome back to the channel. And let's talk about the elephant in the room first. Yeah, Indiana football. You can't say that this is unbelievable, what they've done in the last 2 years, because you wouldn't even think it. You had no reason to think it. Is there a word that's more unbelievable or unthinkable than the words unbelievable and unthinkable? Because that is that's what it was. No reason to ever think they're going to be a 10-win team in any season. You think, well, maybe this year they'll get 6, 7 wins, go to the Weed Eater Bowl. Nothing against the Weed Eater Bowl. I'm sure they're a fine bunch of people that pay their taxes, but you go to those bowls and two or three guys on your team, back out because they have pro aspirations. That's no fun. And to be what they've done in the last 2 years is, like I said, you wouldn't even have imagined it or had any reason to imagine it. Okay, the Colorado Rockies, the last couple of years they've had. Let's say they make the playoffs this year, and next year they win the World Series. That's what it's like. I remember going to IU football with a friend of mine. His dad would take a friend, and then my friend and I would go, and we'd just, go and watch, maybe 20, 25,000 people there to see. I remember we went to see Northwestern and Mike Adamle was playing. That's how long ago this was. And at the time, the stadium was known as 17th Street Stadium. I've played rugby in the old 10th Street Stadium, but this was called 17th Street Stadium at the time. They've now changed it to Memorial Stadium. And now they're going to have a national championship banner at IU Memorial Stadium next year when they start up. It's also kind of unbelievable that the last three national champions have been what you would call traditional Big Ten teams. None of the West Coast teams, or even Rutgers or Nebraska, I guess. That's times they are changing in college football. Somebody I want you to check out, and hopefully I can link him up in the description. A fellow by the name. Let me get a little closer. Come here. I can see. There we go. I'm even uglier closer. There. Anyway, there's a fellow on YouTube. His name is Rabbi MG. Yes, Rabbi MG. He's got a song called Signetti, Google Me, that you might want to check out if you're so inclined. That's Rabbi MG on YouTube. I'll try to link him up. It's a really good song. It's hip hop, and believe it or not, I may not fit the profile. I'm a metal guy, not hip hop, but this is pretty good, and it's worth mentioning to you guys. So there you go. Anyway, another thing I need to talk about is I won some items. About a month or two ago, Mac Wax Stacks had a contest where you showed a player with a mustache, and I used a 1979 Keith Hernandez card, and I have a gift from the good people at Mac Wax Stacks. I will endeavor to put their information in the not biography, but the description. He gave me 3 cards, all of them artwork by our good friend Scott at Reindeer Studios. Here's a Former Cardinal for a year, Dick Allen. Good Lord, if we would have kept him and gotten Reggie Smith, that power from both sides of the plate would have been pretty cool. Reggie Smith, there was a guy that was kind of underrated. He was a good Red Sox. He was a great Cardinal and even greater Dodger. But there's Dick Allen, Hall of Famer. Finally made it to the Hall of Fame. Had that 1 year with the Cardinals. Had like 30 homers by the time September rolled around and they got hurt. And that was the old 414 to center configuration of Busch Stadium too. And also, former point guard for San Diego State, Tony Gwynn, and I think he picked the right sport. And there's a mustached Tony Gwynn, plenty of glare. And once again, Scott on the back from Reindeer. And last but not least, Michael Jack from the Philadelphia Phillies. Dayton, Ohio's pride and joy, Michael Jack Schmidt. And once again, the handiwork of Mr. Scott at Reindeer Studios. So thank you for that, MacWack Stacks. And I also have some pickups from a show I set up at earlier this month in Newburgh, Indiana, where I live now. Real good guy that puts it on. There are tons of people that come through the door, and he's going to have 12 of these, basically the first Friday and Saturday of every month. Now, it may change a little bit, but anyway, I set up the 2nd and 3rd of January this year, and made 4 cards as far as inventory pickups are concerned. The first one is, I love this set. It's the Topps Giant of Carl Yastrzemski. Plenty of, hey, look out the window. There's Carl, Notre Dame's own Carl Yastrzemski, and an 8, SGC 8. And yeah, couldn't get him out in 67 series. Hit 400, but got everybody else out. And that's what counts. There's Carl. Then 369 decal edges. Here's Mr. Clemente on the 69 decal edge. Still known as Bob to the Topps people. There's the visual proof of that. Then we have a Juan Marichal, the Dominican dandy. Juan Marichal. And then the back. I think he won more games than anybody in the 60s. I'm not quite sure of that, but I think he did. But there's Juan Marichal. And last but not least, the last pickup I made was another decal edge of Willie Mays. Say who? Say Willie. There he is. Plenty of glare in the studio today. So, yeah, we watched the game that night, last night, and like most everybody in Indiana, if you're going to rob you're going to break into some place, you should have done it in Indiana when the game was on, because anybody that, even Purdue people here, that are friends of mine on Facebook, are even saying, congratulations and that. But, I always say about Purdue, they still have Neil Armstrong and Gene Cernan. So that's that. But anyway, thanks everyone for listening, and thanks for giving me some messages here and there on the email about where I was last week. Family member had to have surgery. Everything is perfectly fine, and they needed my help and my wife's help last week, and glad to help out. and everything is fine. Can be as good as new or even better. So that's the information on that. So thank you once again for sticking with me. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe, and of course, so long for just a while.